Your exhaustion brought you here, and that is not an accident. You didn't click on this video just because the algorithm suggested it. You're here because your body, your spirit, and your nervous system are trying to deliver a message that you have been too busy to hear. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That heaviness that sleep doesn't fix. That deep, bone-level weariness that coffee can't touch. It feels like you're walking through water, like everything takes twice as much effort as it used to. And if you're like most people, you've probably been judging yourself for it. You've been calling it laziness. You've been calling it burnout. You've been wondering why you seem to have lost your drive, why the ambition that used to fuel you suddenly feels like a car running on empty. But what if I told you that your exhaustion isn't a sign that something is wrong with you? What if it's actually the strongest sign that everything is finally going right? See, we live in a world that only understands one kind of tired, the kind that comes from doing too much. But there is another kind of tired, a sacred tired, a heaviness that descends when you are on the precipice of a massive energetic shift. Because what you are calling exhaustion, the universe calls a recalibration. You've been noticing the symptoms, and they're specific. It's not just that you want a nap. It's that you wake up after 8 hours of sleep and still feel a gravitational pull back to the pillow. It's that you sit down to do work that used to be easy, work that used to define you, and you just can't. It feels like there's a wall between you and your productivity. And deeper than the physical symptoms, there's this strange emotional flatness. Things that used to excite you, certain goals, certain social circles, even certain shows or foods, suddenly feel tasteless, meaningless. You might look at your life, a life you worked hard to build, and feel a frightening sense of disconnection, like you're an actor who suddenly forgot their lines in the middle of a play. This scares people. It scares the ego. The ego says, I'm losing my edge. I'm falling behind. I'm broken. But you are not broken. You are being interrupted. There is a massive difference between a breakdown and a breakthrough, even though they feel identical in the beginning. And here is what most people don't understand about this specific kind of tiredness. It is an enforced stillness. It is the universe putting you in a spiritual timeout because you are undergoing a frequency upgrade that requires every ounce of your available energy. Most people just push through tiredness. They drink the extra espresso. They force the gym session. They shame themselves into productivity. And for normal fatigue, that works. But you're different. You're watching this because you've realized that pushing isn't working anymore. In fact, the harder you push, the more exhausted you become. That's because you are in the middle of a metamorphosis. Think about the caterpillar. When it enters the cocoon, it doesn't just sleep and wake up with wings. It completely dissolves. It turns into a genetic soup. If you opened a cocoon halfway through the process, it would look like a disaster. It would look like death. But inside that soup, the imaginal cells of the butterfly are consuming the old form to build the new one. Right now, you are in the soup. Your exhaustion is the physical symptom of your old identity dissolving. The energy that used to go toward maintaining your social mask, your career ambition, and your people-pleasing habits is being redirected internally to build the structure of who you are becoming. It takes a massive amount of metabolic and spiritual energy to rewrite your operating system. You are like a phone that has to shut down to install a major update. You can't make calls, you can't check apps, and the screen is black. To the outside world, you look inactive. But inside, everything is being rewired, which means your exhaustion is actually following a specific pattern, a map that has been hidden in plain sight. If you stop fighting it and start observing it, you'll see that this sacred rest, actually moves in waves. And understanding where you are in these waves is the difference between suffering through this process and mastering it. It usually begins with what we call the resistance crash. This is where the body takes the lead because the mind refused to listen. You probably spent months ignoring the subtle signals, the slight irritability, the loss of passion, the desire to cancel plans. So, the universe had to get louder. This phase often looks like a sudden flu that isn't a flu, or a migraine that lasts 3 days, or just a morning where you physically cannot get out of bed. The purpose of this crash isn't to punish you. It's to sever the autopilot. It's a hard reset to stop the momentum of a life that was no longer aligned with your soul. It feels violent, but it's actually an act of mercy. Once the body has stopped you, you move into the second wave, the identity dissolution. This is the mental fog. This is where the grief comes in. You're resting physically, but your mind is racing because you're realizing that you don't care about the things you're supposed to care about anymore. You might look at your career and think, does this even matter? You might look at relationships and realize you've outgrown the dynamic. This is painful because you are grieving the death of your former self. That version of you, the one who could work 60 hours a week, the one who said yes to everything, is dying. And grieving takes energy. It is exhausting work to let go of who you thought you were. And if you allow that process, you enter the third and most misunderstood wave, the void. This is the scariest phase. This is the 0-point field. The physical crash has settled, the panic has subsided, and now there is just nothing. No motivation, no inspiration, no clarity on what's next. Just a vast, empty space. Most people mistake the void for depression. They think, I've lost my spark forever. But the void is not empty. It is fertile. It is the dark soil where the new seeds are waiting to crack open. In this phase, your only job is to exist, to surrender to the not knowing, to be okay with being a blank page. This is where the deepest healing happens, in the silence where you stop trying to perform for the world. If you can sit in that darkness without turning on the artificial lights of distraction, you eventually drift into the fourth wave, the gentle emergence. This is subtle. It starts with a tiny returning of energy, but it feels different. It's not the frantic, adrenaline-fueled energy of your past. It's a quiet hum. You might suddenly feel an urge to draw, or walk in nature, or read a book on a topic you've never studied. Pay close attention here. These are your imaginal cells waking up. These new interests are the breadcrumbs of your new timeline. You'll notice that you have energy for things that align with your soul, but the moment you try to do something out of obligation, the exhaustion comes rushing back instantly. That's your new guidance system coming online. It's telling you, this way yes, that way no. Finally, this creates the fifth wave, the integrated alignment. This is where you stop swinging between burnout and mania, and you find a new rhythm. You aren't cured of the need for rest. You have integrated rest as a non-negotiable power source. You operate from a new frequency where you do less, but achieve more, because you are no longer fighting the current of your own life. But here is where most people abandon the process entirely. Just as you start to feel that gentle emergence, just as the energy starts to trickle back, you will face the most dangerous trap of the entire journey, the relapse illusion. The moment you have one good day, one day where you feel 80% normal, your ego will try to sprint back to your old life. You'll think, oh, thank God, it's over. I can get back to the grind. I can answer those 50 emails. I can say yes to that party. You treat your recovery like a finish line instead of a new starting line. You try to fit your new, upgraded self into your old, outdated schedule, and the universe will shut you down harder than before. This often feels like a slap in the face. You'll think, I thought I was healed. Why am I back in bed? You're back in bed because you tried to drag the past into your future. The old patterns will fight the hardest right before they die. The temptation to be productive again, to prove to everyone that you haven't lost your mind, will be overwhelming. You have to understand that people around you might be triggering this relapse. They want the old you back. The old you was convenient for them. The old you was predictable. When you start changing, when you start resting, it makes them uncomfortable. They might ask, "Are you okay? You've been really checked out lately." Or, "We miss the fun you." Hear this clearly. They are missing a version of you that was self-sacrificing. Do not relapse to make them comfortable. This is your final initiation. It's the universe asking, do you really want this new life? Or are you just looking for enough energy to go back to the misery you know? So here is exactly what to do when that resistance rises. You need more than just sleep. You need recalibration rituals. These aren't generic self-care tips. These are energetic boundaries to protect your upgrade. First, you need a permission mantra. When the guilt rises, and it will, when you're lying on the couch at 2 p.m. and your brain is screaming that you're lazy, you need a phrase to override that programming. Tell yourself, I am not lazy. I am recalibrating. Or, my rest is productive work. Say it out loud. Your voice changes your vibration. Break the loop of shame. Second, you have to perform an energy audit. In this sensitive state, you don't have the luxury of energy leaks. Look at your life. Who drains you after a 5-minute conversation? What apps leave you feeling hollow? What foods make you heavy? In the past, you could tolerate them. Now, you can't. Your tolerance for toxicity has been removed. That is a gift. Cut the leaks. If you can't cut them, limit them aggressively. This requires the boundary script. You need the words ready before the request comes. When someone asks for your time and you know you're in a rest cycle, don't lie and make up an excuse. Don't say you're busy. Say, I'm in a cycle of deep rest right now and I'm honoring that, so I can't make it. Watch what happens when you say that. You not only protect your energy, but you also give permission to everyone else to honor their own exhaustion. You become a lighthouse of sanity in a world addicted to burnout. Fourth, use an integration journal. You don't need to write pages. Just ask 3 questions every day during this phase. What is my body asking for? What is falling away? What is trying to emerge? And finally, practice the frequency check. Before you agree to anything, a call, a project, a date, scan your body. If you feel a contraction, a tightening in your gut or chest, that is a hard no. If you feel an expansion, a lightness, even if it's terrifying, that is a yes. Your body is your compass now. Stop using your logic. Your logic is tied to your old identity. Your body is tied to your destiny. And as you practice these rituals, something inevitable begins to happen. You stop fighting the tired. You start treating your exhaustion like a visiting royalty that needs to be tended to. You wrap yourself in blankets. You cancel the plans. You stare out the window. And you stop apologizing for it. And in that space of allowance, the magic returns. But it's not the old magic. It's deeper. You are becoming someone who can hold more power because you are no longer leaking it. It's already happening, even as you listen to this. Can you feel it? You're becoming someone who doesn't need external validation to feel worthy. You're becoming someone who works in bursts of inspired genius rather than hours of grinding obligation. You are becoming someone whose mere presence calms the room, because you are vibrating at the frequency of peace, not stress. The exhaustion was never the enemy. It was the tunnel, and you are nearing the end of the tunnel. When you emerge, you won't be the same person who went in. You will be clearer. You will be stronger. You will be less tolerant of nonsense and more open to miracles. You will look back at this time of deep fatigue and you will thank it. You will realize that while you thought you were sleeping, the universe was performing open-heart surgery on your soul. So if you are ready to stop fighting this process and start honoring it, if you are ready to accept that your tiredness is a divine invitation, take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop, and declare it. Go to the comments right now and type, "I honor my rest." Do it as a signal to yourself. Do it to anchor this new frequency into your physical reality. Join the thousands of others who are waking up to the power of the sacred pause. And if you have a friend, a partner, or a family member who has been exhausted, who has been hard on themselves, share this with them. Tell them they aren't broken. Tell them they're upgrading. Your exhaustion isn't your enemy. It is your invitation. And by being here, by listening to this, you just said yes. Rest well. Your new life is waiting for you when you wake up.